I'm Mike Bowers. I'm talking pitches this morning with the member for Higgins and soon to be just plain old ordinary citizen Costello. A very warm welcome to the program.
Thanks very much, Mike.
Mate, you ended the long-running speculation this week about your future. Why now?
Well, the party called for its pre-selections, and so I had to decide whether or not I'd come back for the next Parliament. And I thought it was better to go out at a time of my choosing. And so I made my announcement, fronted a press conference. I've enjoyed the banter with the press very much over the years.
You look like you enjoy it. Is there any journalist you enjoy more than another?
Well, somebody once gave me a list. The 10 people I don't like the most in the world, and there were 10 journalists' names ordered from 1 to 10 on it. But if I release that, that's going to be in the 3rd edition of my memoirs.
Both of Mr. Rudd and Mr. Turnbull were quite happy after the announcement. You've united the Parliament, but both sides were happy.
I know. As I said, both sides of the dispatch box welcomed my announcement, and no doubt about that. I'm a force for national healing.
Yeah, you are. You've healed them.
Reconciliation.
Reconciliation. I remember chasing you around many years ago, and I thought you were fair game. I was a young photographer, but I remember distinctly thinking, probably not that fair to your wife because she had tenure there as well. Is it hard on your family?
You blokes always thought I was fair game. God, I kept a lot of you blokes in work over the years.
You did, and thank you very much.
It was a pleasure. What are you going to do now? They all say to me, what am I going to do? What are you blokes going to do?
I don't know. They reckon you've been one of the most overanalyzed politicians in our history.
Absolutely. I think a whole industry developed in psychoanalyzing Costello, and I got bored reading it. I don't know what the public thought about it.
Did you get sick of opening the paper and looking at a cartoon and go, oh, not me again?
I tell you what, after a while I didn't need to read the story.
Right.
Because if it was a good story, it was a nice photo.
Yeah.
If it was a bad story, it was a bad photo. And I just open up and say, bad photos today. No need to read this one.
How did your family react to this sort of stuff? Did it worry them?
Well, my wife would cancel one newspaper in the home because
something happened.
So I've been sick. Yeah. And then after another week, she'd cancel the other one. And
you run out of papers.
You could never tell which paper was going to turn up because my wife had cancelled each and every one over the years. So I used to read them at the office.
You've caused terrible ructions in the cartooning community. They've been speaking to me all week. One cartoonist said, quote, yes, I've lost my Howard, I've lost my Dana, and now I've lost my Costello. These are black days for cartooning.
I think so. I never worried about cartoons, actually, ever. I always took cartoons in very good grace.
Yeah.
Because they're trying to amplify things.
Yeah. Well, as cartoonists, as they progressively moved along, they sort of started to draw you sort of very porcine-like almost.
My ears started coming down my neck, and they were coming out from about here after a while. And the nose started going all over the face as well. And after a while, you start seeing yourself like the cartoonists do. When I was shaving, I'd make sure that I'd miss my ears down.
Out of all the photos that I've seen over the years, this would have to be my favourite one of you.
This one
with the baby bonus. It is just a fantastic.
A lot of people thought that this was computer generated.
Yeah.
But we went down to the maternity hospital one day, and all the babies that had been born, they asked their mothers whether they'd want them photographed. Thinking not many would, and they all did. And you can actually see the hands of all of the mothers. Yeah. Holding these babies.
I know, it looks real to me. I would have never thought it was manufactured.
And me holding the two of them. And you can see that I am rather surprised that my baby bonus has brought all of these babies into the world. I think that was probably the most famous statement I ever made when I said to the assembled throng, have one for mum, one for dad, and one for the country. I had a bloke walk up to me once in the street. He said, my wife and I had one for mum and one for dad, and you told us to have one for the country, and we discussed it, and we had one for the country. And I said, that's great, how's it going? Baby's going well. Would you mind coming round and picking it up?
But who are all these young chaps?
Well, they're all got a lot more hair there than they have today. I'd call them a few good men. They were defending the free world against the Keating government.
That's right.
And I know what was happening here. I was looking across at Keating. I think I was goading him. There was a day when I threw some papers in his face.
Yeah, I remember that day. I got in trouble because I missed it.
You missed it. Well, I got in trouble. I flew home and I was sort of hiding, you know. And a taxi driver said, "Mr. Costello, you threw papers in the Prime Minister's face." I said, "Yes, that was me." He said, "Next time, you throw brick."
Mate, who did you like sparring with in Parliament? Who do you think was the most formidable?
Oh, I think when I first came here, the most formidable sparring opponent was probably Paul Keating. You know, he could give you a good old whack, Keating. Yeah, I quite liked that. I was a young tearaway, and I really liked matching wits with him. I think the Parliament is a lot quieter these days and a lot less interesting.
Yeah.
You'll see during question time the gallery's just gradually empty.
There were quite a number of photos that sort of show this sort of thing. Is this just an unfortunate moment?
Yeah, look,
did it give you the willies when you'd see this sort of stuff and it's portrayed as you guys having?
Exactly right. Look, this is how the camera can lie.
We wouldn't do that.
Oh no, not you, Bowes. This is how the camera can lie, because there was a debate going on in the question time. We were both speaking. We were waiting for some boring speaker on the other side of the table to finish. And so, you know, we're just sort of looking around the gallery. And if you know this, if you've got a lens on a person long enough, you'll get them scowling or picking their nose or something. And we just happened to turn around at the wrong time. And they had a field day with that one.
What were the big things that will be your legacy? Is the GST?
The hardest thing was the GST. It was just unbelievable. And we changed the price of every good and every service on one night, 3 billion prices. And I was under such pressure that I started grinding my teeth at night. And the dentist got a gold crown made for one of my teeth. And as he was putting it in, he looked inside this gold crown and he giggled and he said, "If you ever die in an accident, we'll never have any trouble identifying you." And I said, "Why is that?" And he says, "The technician has carved GST inside this gold crown. So if a plane goes down somewhere and they find that gold crown, it's me, it's me."
There's nothing left but that. How do you want to be remembered for your political career?
Look, I would want to go out of politics as somebody who's served his country honourably and well. And I go out as somebody still at the top of his game and choosing the time of his departure. A lot of people go out of this place involuntarily. And I'm going out at a time of my own choosing.
Well, Peter, thank you very much. You've had a very busy week. I really appreciate you taking the time to come on Talking Pictures.
Thanks, Mike.
Very entertaining. And in the